But tonight on This Is Exclusive, I get you the real story of how fugitive Mehul Choksi may have actually duped the Belgian authorities. I come to you with full documentation of what has happened and how exactly the legal counsel in Antwerp are now washing their hands off. That's our big story tonight. The other big story that I'm going to get to tonight is what we are calling the Robert Vadra files. Where exactly are the cases that have been registered against Robert Vadra really stand today? But up first, let's take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Enforcement Directorate grills Robert Vadra in the Skylight Hospitality case. Exclusive details of the investigation only on Republic. Republic deep dives into Mehul Choksi's case, questions the discrepancies in the medical certificate issued by Antwerp general physician. Antwerp Counsel distances from Choksi's residency application. Legal team drops a bombshell. National Herald case back to haunt the Gandhis. Sonia and Rahul Gandhi named in the Enforcement Directorate charge sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, fugitive diamantaire Mehul Choksi, accused in the 13,500 crore rupees Punjab National Bank scam, is back in the spotlight after being spotted and briefly detained in Belgium by the Interpol. Choksi, who fled India in January 2018 and soon after acquired the citizenship of Antigua and Barbuda, has been evading the Indian authorities despite an ongoing extradition process. In 2021, he was allegedly abducted and taken to Dominica, only to return to Antigua after securing bail. Now in 2025, his sudden appearance in Belgium has reignited diplomatic and legal efforts to bring him back. Choksi faces a slew of serious charges, including money laundering, criminal conspiracy, document forgery, destruction of evidence, large-scale fraud against Indian banks. Ladies and gentlemen, based on one medical certificate, fugitive diamantaire Mehul Choksi, wanted in the 13,500 crore PNB scam, once again has attempted to delay the extradition process by submitting a medical certificate issued by a general physician in Antwerp, citing blood cancer as the reason. The certificate has now been accessed exclusively by Republic TV, claims Choksi is unfit to travel due to his condition, raising some serious questions over its credibility. Given the lack of verification by a specialist, his legal team is now under scrutiny for allegedly misleading Indian courts with this unverified document. In fact, what you're seeing right now on your screen is a medical certificate which has now been translated. And if you see on your screens right now, I'm going to take you through the details of this. Now, this has been signed by a general physician, Dr. Mark Dox. And according to the general physician, there you have it on your screen, Dr. Mark Dox. He's a general physician practicing in Antwerp. And based on this, can we just once again go back to this? Now this here, you see, he says that he has got chronic lymphoid leukemia. And from 14th of February to 31st of October, the patient is not allowed to leave the house. Now that's one line that has now been written, that Mehul Choksi cannot perhaps leave his residence. Now there is an important, there's a significance attached to this particular letter, because this is the very letter, or this is the referencing that has been done by Mehul Choksi. In fact, here in India, the argument that has been made in the court is that Mehul Choksi cannot come back to India because he's undergoing medical treatment, because he has blood cancer, and that is the reason why he's unable to travel and face justice. In fact, what is interesting is that this hasn't come across from any specialist who's basically looking into why Mehul Choksi cannot perhaps come and face justice here and face the law. The reason being is that he's saying that Dr. Mark Docs. Now, what you see right now on your screen, this is the translated version of the original document that has been accessed by Republic TV. The original document is the same. It has the same thing that they have mentioned, and they say that Dr. Mark Docs, based in Antwerp, is the one who has been looking into. In fact, we did actually try to reach out to Dr. Mark Docs to raise this question as to whether at all he has certified this on the basis of certain reports or on the basis of certain examination that has been done of Mehul Choksi, and why exactly has he essentially said that from 14th of February onwards he is not in a position. How exactly is Dr. Mark Docs really coming to a conclusion by the 31st of October perhaps Mehul Choksi will be absolutely fit and fine to come out of his residence? Now, these are some basic questions that many are asking right now, that how exactly does a general physician basically certify a patient, and that to give the end date as to till when he has to be at home? And secondly, if at all he has leukemia, how exactly can a general physician basically certify this? And this does not come across from any sort of a specialist. No specialist has basically certified this, and this is Mehul Choksi's medical certificate. Now, it just does not end there. It just does not end there. The reason being that there are questions that are now being raised. There is a major twist to the Mehul Choksi extradition saga. In fact, Republic has accessed explosive documents that is related to his residency application. Now, Choksi's legal counsel in Antwerp has dropped a bombshell. He's distancing himself from the application, claiming their client filed it independently without their knowledge. This revelation raises some very serious concerns about Choksi's legal strategy, with growing speculation over attempts to mislead both the Indian and international authorities. Now, while the Antwerp-based counsel has come on record, Choksi's primary lawyer here in India remains completely silent on this entire controversy. Now, let me try and explain this to you. Mehul Choksi has obtained an F1 residency card of Belgium. This is on the basis of the fact that his wife is a Belgian national and they have a daughter who was born in Belgium, and because the family has to stay together, an F1 residency card has been given to him, which also means that if he actually stays in Belgium for the next 5 years, there is a very high probability that he becomes a Belgian resident. Interestingly, he was earlier an Antiguan citizen. I spoke to the Prime Minister of Antigua yesterday, and he says that the citizenship has been revoked, which essentially means that he's no longer an Antiguan citizen. So where does it leave him? It leaves him with a situation that he does not have the citizenship of India, he does not have the citizenship of Antigua, and right now he has just an F1 residency card. Now, I spoke to Simon, who is the counsel of Mehul Choksi. In fact, in the document that we have accessed, if we can just put out the document that has also been accessed by Republic TV, because there you have the firm, which is based outside Belgium, has basically certified that these documents were raised. Interestingly, now the same very lawyer has basically gone back. This is not the document that we need to show right now. Let's just go back to it. The other document, this is with regards to the lawyer. We'll play that out in a short while from now. We've just got the wrong plates on air right now. In fact, we are seeing the reason why we are saying that the Antwerp Council has basically distanced itself, because in a short while from now, when I play out the excerpts of the conversation that I had with the legal counsel, he's essentially said that the client has independently filed the application. So, questions that emerge. Number one, was the law firm not taken on board while the application was filed before the Belgian authorities? The second question that I also asked the legal counsel was that, did they actually tell the Belgian authorities that this man faces a non-bailable warrant that has been issued by a competent authority in India? If so, did they actually not tell the Belgian authorities that there is a charge sheet that has been filed against him? And if at all these information was actually withheld, then shouldn't the Belgian authorities then take action against him and perhaps even revoke the F1 residency card that has been given? Because it's extremely unlikely that a man who faces some very serious charges, and as per the extradition treaty between India and Belgium, this is a crime that has been committed by Mehul Choksi, perhaps his F1 residency card wouldn't have been given to him in the first place. Now, listen in to what the legal counsel of Mehul Choksi had to say when he was confronted with these very questions.
This is with regards to the documents that we have on the residency itself, where the F residency has been applied on the basis of certain documentation provided by you and your firm. And the allegation that has been leveled that this is done in a forged manner.
Well, I have not filed any documents myself. The application was not filed by my firm, but by the clients themselves.
So what is the role? What is the role?
It was not forged.
What was your role or your firm's role in this? Because as I understand, some reports are suggesting where they have details of the report itself, and I'm just quoting from what we have. This is what the report.
I don't do quotes, and I don't.
No, I'm not asking for your quote on this. I'm asking.
I'm not. We didn't. I mean, he filed for an F card. He filed it himself. So, and that's it. So, if you want any information, you can contact the Belgian authorities.
That we are doing, but this is signed by you. It is signed by the attorney at law by your firm, and where you have categorically mentioned that on the 25th of May 2024, you have basically filed this. Hence, I'm asking this, are you saying that this was done without your knowledge?
No, the client has filed applications for an F card, and I confirmed that he has filed applications for an F card. That is correct. He has filed for an F card, which I could confirm that he has filed for an F card because he has an F card. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had an F card.
But is he eligible, Mr. Simon? Because Mr. Simon, the reason why I'm asking you this question is that your client is a fugitive. He's a fugitive economic offender.
It doesn't. Well, what kind of procedure?
Like, how did it?
How was for an F card?
How did your client file this? Because I want to understand. The allegation here is that since he is an economic fugitive offender.
Allegation? Who allegates who?
It's an investigative agency.
Who makes any allegation?
It's an Indian court.
Who makes any allegation?
It's an Indian court which has issued a non-bailable warrant against him.
Against him, yes.
So, that is why I'm asking, have the Belgian authorities been misled?
Well, in fact, tonight on This Is Exclusive, we are coming to you with the first report coming in from Antwerp. In fact, let's just get the labeling correct. Guun de Vos is outside Mehul Choksi's residence in Antwerp. Now, this is the very place that he's been staying from the time that he shifted from Antigua. Guun, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Could you help us understand where are you right now? Have you been able to gather some information about where he was staying? I understand this is the very location that he has given, the place that he has been staying for quite some time, and perhaps the Belgian authorities actually arrested him from the very location that you are standing right now.
Yeah, fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi, wanted in the 13,000 crore PNB scam, continues to evade Indian authorities. We are currently outside Choksi's residence in Antwerp, where he was living with his wife before he fled the country. Choksi, alongside with his nephew Nirav Modi, is accused of orchestrating one of the biggest banking frauds in Indian history. While Nirav Modi is currently in jail in the UK, Choksi acquired Antiguan citizenship and is fighting extradition to India. This residence behind me is now under scrutiny as investigators trace his financial and personal trail across borders. Back in India, multiple agencies, including the CBI and ED, are actively pursuing legal actions to bring him to justice. his disappearance from Antigua in 2021 and reappearance in Dominica raised further suspicion about his international network. Choksi maintains that he is being politically targeted, but Indian authorities have called his claims baseless. Reporting from Antwerp, this is Gune de Vos, outside of the residence of Mehul Choksi for Republic TV.
Gyun, do we know anything about the legal proceedings that are basically underway? As we understand that Mehul Choksi has been taken into the custody, is currently lodged in a prison in Antwerp. Can you tell us a little bit more about where is he right now and what is the plan that the Belgian authorities have?
Well, to be honest, there's not much known about that. He is right now in custody, but Choksi claims that he is, that he hasn't done anything wrong. So he's just in custody, and and Belgium is still keeping him in custody, of course.
One final question, Gyun, and I'll request you to stay on with us because we want to show all our viewers who are in India this man who ran away from India and was actually staying at the very place from where you're broadcasting. Can you tell us a little bit about the very place, about this neighborhood in Antwerp? Are there more Indians? Do they have any idea that you have had a fugitive economic offender staying in this neighborhood for a very long period? Anything that you're picking up from people who are staying in this area?
Yeah, well, we're right now in front of his residence in Antwerp, but I think we didn't know there was a fugitive in our country. But yeah, as you can see, this is the residence right behind me. It's where he lived with his wife. And yeah, that's everything we know.
Request you to stay on with us because we're getting some more details. In fact, my colleague Abhishek Kapoor is also joining us from the newsroom. Abhishek, I spoke to the lawyer and I asked him this question about how exactly did they obtain the F1 residency and whether at all they had informed the Belgian authorities that a non-bailable warrant has been issued against him, and secondly, that there is a charge sheet that has been filed. And he's dropped a bombshell. He says that the client independently has filed this application. I believe you're also holding the very letter that was actually issued by the law firm. What does it essentially state?
Well, I can tell you this is from BS&D Law Advocate, and this is Sijon Beccari. Is I mean, if I'm getting the name right, it's a very fine print. Shawan, I'm reading from, and then the mail goes on to mention that the client Mehul Choksi is domiciled in Belgium, and he's domiciled since November 25, 2023, and that he also has a wife there who's a Belgian national, a Belgian citizen, as also their daughter. Then he goes on to say that Mr. Choksi had moved to Belgium in 2023, and on May 25, 2024, the competent Belgian government has, in accordance with Article 10 of the European Directive, etc., so and so forth, has issued a residence card F, which seems like a temporary residency, because then it goes on to say that the F card is residence card for a third country, family member of a union citizen or Belgian, so which means F card can be given to a resident who's married to a Belgian national. That's what comes out of this communication. And then, of course, it goes on to say that if with F card you are a resident in the country for 5 years, which means if Choksi has applied for citizenship or got the F card in 2024, Shawan, he's entitled to become a Belgian citizen only by 2029, which means he as yet remains a person with no nationality, because remember, you broke the story that his citizenship in Antigua is revoked, which of course is under adjudication. He has given up his Indian passport, and the Belgian law says that he can only become a national in 2029. So that's what comes out of this communication that you have accessed, Shawan. And I think we are zooming in on the document. It's an email, as I mentioned, from BSND law firm from Antwerp, and it clearly makes a point that while Mehul Choksi's residency of Belgium is legal in the sense that he holds an F card by the virtue of being married to his wife, who is a Belgian national. His citizenship only becomes possible only by 2029 is what comes out of this. Then,
Right.
insofar as the residence status associated with this card also grants Mr. Choksi the right to obtain Belgium nationality after 5 years, of course, as I mentioned. So this is what comes out of this communication,
Right.
Shravan. When you suggest that they might have withheld some information, that's something, of course, they will have
Right.
to clarify further.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. I'll just take a quick report from Gyun, who's also joining us on this broadcast. I'm not too sure whether... Can we just go full frame with that visual of from Choksi's residence? I'm not too sure Gyun is there or not, but I just want to speak over the visuals that you're seeing right now. This, is, ladies and gentlemen, is where Mehul Choksi, the fugitive economic offender, has been staying in Belgium for the last several months. In fact, it was reported that in the month of August is when he moved from Antigua and he started staying in Belgium. In fact, you've had one newspaper portal based out of Antigua who had got the first big scoop. And that scoop was that he was staying in Belgium and he had obtained an F residency that is basically allowing him to stay there without a visa. It does not, you don't require much. In fact, he was staying there. We'll go back from the visuals right now that we have here. In fact, what has happened is that Belgian authorities thereafter informed India that Mehul Choksi was residing in Belgium, and importantly, immediately thereafter, you had the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate immediately sending the papers, which basically includes the charge sheets, the non-bailable warrant, and certain UN conventions that were basically cited. In fact, it's important to point out that Belgium immediately thereafter acted upon it. In fact, was tracking Mehul Choksi over the last several months, and this last Saturday is when Mehul Choksi immediately was taken into custody. In fact, there is a confirmation coming in from the Department of Justice, and they say that this has been done for further legal proceedings to take place. We are being told that in the coming few days, the matter is going to come up before the court, and the first would be the bail hearing, and second would be the extradition details or extradition hearing that's going to take place. Now, I'm going to just quickly play out that conversation that I had with Mehul Choksi's lawyer, who's simply dropped a bombshell saying that I don't know. It's the client who has basically filed the papers. And did Mehul Choksi deliberately not tell the Belgian authorities that he was under the scanner of the Indian investigative agencies? And if so, if he had done so, we doubt that Belgian authorities would have given him the card in the first place. Listen in.
No, this is with regards to the documents that we have on the residency itself, where the F residency has been applied on the basis of certain documentation provided by you and your firm. And the allegation that has been leveled that this is done in a forged manner.
Well, I have not filed any documents myself. The application was not filed by my firm, but by the clients themselves.
So what is the role? What is the role?
It was not forged.
What was your role or your firm's role in this? Because as I understand, some reports are suggesting where they have details of the report itself, and I'm just quoting from what we have. This is what the report.
I don't do quotes, and I don't.
No, I'm not asking for your quote on this. I'm asking.
I'm not. We didn't. I mean, he filed for an F card. He filed it himself. So, and that's it. So, if you want any information, you can contact the Belgian authorities.
That we are doing, but this is signed by you. It is signed by the attorney at law, by your firm, and where you have categorically mentioned that on the 25th of May 2024, you have basically filed this. Hence, I'm asking this, are you saying that this was done without your knowledge?
No, now the client has filed applications for an escort, and I confirmed that he has filed applications for an escort. That is correct. He has filed for an escort, which I could confirm that he has filed for an escort because he has an escort. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had an escort.
But is he eligible, Mr. Simon? Because
nothing wrong with it.
Mr. Simon, the reason why I'm asking you this question is that your client is a fugitive. He's a fugitive economic offender.
It doesn't. Well, what kind of procedure?
Like, how did it?
How was for an escort?
How did your client file this? Because I want to understand. The allegation here is that since he is an economic fugitive offender.
Allegation? Who allegates who?
It's an investigative agency.
Who makes any allegation?
It's an Indian court.
Who makes any allegation?
It's an Indian court which has issued a non-bailable warrant against him.
Against him, yes.
That is why I'm asking, have the Belgian authorities been misled?
Well, in fact, I'll go back to those exclusive images now coming in. Now, if you're wondering why exactly are we really reporting from outside the residence when he is at the prison, that's because the latest input coming in that the other character in this entire story is Mehul Choksi's wife, Preeti Choksi. Preeti Choksi is a resident of Belgium. In fact, she holds a Belgian nationality. In fact, we're being told that where we are reporting right now from, Preeti Choksi is still present there at that very place. Questions that we are trying to pose. We've also reached out to the Choksi family. They have not responded to a single question. Did they actually mislead the Belgian authorities? Because if the documents that have been accessed by us and the interview that we did with the legal counsel essentially indicates that something is amiss, that perhaps there was an attempt that was made by the Choksis to mislead the authorities. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time with more exclusive stories.